Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another First Impressions video for Civilization 6 Rise and Fall expansion. This one's a little different because this is not actually a new civilization. This is for the newly announced leader of India, Chandragupta. So let's get the video started.
Chandragupta also leads India in Civilization 6 Rise and Fall. He unified much of the Indian subcontinent, building one of the largest empires in the region. He later abdicated his throne, renounced everything, and died an enlightened Jain monk. Chandragupta is the second alternative leader to join the Civilization 6 leader lineup.
Now, obviously, first impressions are how very much different these guys are visually. Gandhi has somewhat of a weak appearance, although I would never say that Gandhi as a person was weak in any way, which kind of played to what he represented. I mean, he had this look of frailty about him, but did some incredibly strong things throughout his life, which is kind of interesting. And obviously they represent him here as, kind of a frail older guy. Whereas Chandragupta over here is like the Rock. I mean, he's like built and muscular and abs rippling, and he's probably got like a 12-pack over there or something like that. So very, very different leaders just from the initial get-go. Although I will say it is very interesting to note that Chandragupta did eventually abdicate his throne and become an enlightened spiritual monk of sorts, which, Gandhi was also very spiritual. So the fact that they kind of ultimately ended up in a similar place, maybe, is very, very interesting. But yeah, no, Chandragupta definitely is a very, very imposing figure. Now, I will also say I was not expecting India to get the second leader for the civilization. I was actually thinking maybe Rome would get one based on some of the cinematics about, the Colosseum that they were featuring, things like that. But I'm okay with this because we've had Gandhi as an India leader since the beginning. He's been in every iteration of civilization as far as I know. And so to have another leader for India that's just unique and different and can kind of take India a little bit different way is actually really, really cool. And I'm actually pretty okay with this. So I'm glad they did something here with this, even though it was not something that I was expecting at all.
These different leaders allow players to take the Civ strengths in slightly different directions. While Gandhi's empire flourishes in times of peace, Chandragupta allows you to play as India more aggressively. Chandragupta gets India's unique ability, Dharma.
All right, so he gets their unique ability, Dharma, which is the one that allows you to have the follower beliefs of any minor religions in your cities. And as it showed just right there, they just purchased some warrior monks, which warrior monks are one of the follower beliefs. So as long as you have a little bit of taste of religion from each of the other religions, or, a couple of them here and there, you're going to be able to get some of their bonuses as well, which I haven't personally had a whole lot of, I don't know. I haven't used the monks very well in my most recent game, but I think I got them a little bit late. I didn't have a lot of opportunity to get them some experience and level them up. So I believe if you can get them on a continent map with this guy, they could definitely come in and be some pretty awesome things to have if you can get those into your civilization, through that follower belief mechanic. Now, obviously, you could always take them as your part of your own personal religion, but having them as a follower belief, just all that extra buff that you can get from all those different follower beliefs without having to take them yourself is pretty strong thing that India has as a whole. And that includes obviously Gandhi's India as well.
As well as the ability to build stepwells and Varu units. His unique ability is Arthashastra.
So Arthashastra can declare war of territorial expansion after gaining the military training civic. +2 movement, pretty significant, and +5 combat strength for the first 10 turns after declaring a war of territorial expansion. Now, 10 turns doesn't sound like a lot, but honestly, you could finish a lot of wars in 10 turns. Go in there, declare war, take one city, maybe 2 cities within the 10 turns, and then peace them out. Wait till the peace timer goes up, and then declare war again. Take a couple more. That way you can continue to carry that movement speed and that combat strength over, every single time you do a war. That's actually not a pretty bad way to go. I'm actually going to jump over to the game real quick because I'd actually I forgot where military training civic comes in. So let's just jump over the game and see where we can see that, as well as we're going to take another look at the Varu and the stepwells as well. All right, so here we are. We have a game pulled up as India, of course. And we're going to go ahead and check the, let's check the civics real quick. And let's go ahead and scroll over. Oh, we're already over on the future civics. So military training is right here at the end of the classical era. Pretty early in the game. Territorial expansion, let's see, territorial, is it going to be mobilization? Mobilization. Territorial expansion is in mobilization over here in the modern era. He gets this thing 1, 2, 3, 4 eras earlier than anybody else in the game. That's pretty early. And the territorial expansion one is the one that gives you must have 2 of your cities within 10 tiles of 2 opponent cities. Okay, that's usually pretty easy to have. And then you get a 25% reduction to warmonger penalties. Now, because you're getting it so early, in the classical era, warmonger penalties are already relatively low. It's definitely going to help you to keep those penalties, as low as possible during this era. The other thing is that during this time, most of the other civilizations only have, just a straight up, normal war declaration. You don't really get any of the, alternative declarations until I think diplomatic service might be the earliest you get. I don't see any others popping up here. I don't remember if you get any through the other means. You get 4 here in the diplomatic service, and you get 1 over here in nationalism. And of course, the territorial expansion one over in mobilization. So pretty early to get an alternative war declaration, plus obviously the benefits and the bonuses he gets of the +5 combat strength and the +2 movement. Let's go ahead and check real quick while we're sitting here. Let's go look at India. Come on. India. Let's go look at their Varu. It's been a while since I've played with them. All right, so the Varu, they actually get -5 combat strength for any adjacent units. So if you couple that with the +5 that you get from the first 10 turns of war declaration, that's a 10-point combat strength swing in your favor. Pretty significant. They've already got 40 melee strength, which I believe the horseman only has like 30, 35, something like that. Horseman. So the one they replaced got 36. 4 movement speed though, which is interesting to note. Whereas the Varu has 2 movement speed, but with the war declaration bonus that you get, you're going to get these up to 4, which is going to be right there in line with those horsemen. Pretty good. The other thing that India has is the stepwells. Just a builder ability, +1 food and +1 housing. You also get +1 faith if adjacent to a holy site, or +1 food if adjacent to a farm. Presumably you can get both of those if you're adjacent to both. Can't be built on hills or adjacent to another stepwell. So you're limited on how many you can build, but you can still build quite a few. And +1 housing. Most farms only give you half a housing. This is going to give you the full housing bonus. You're probably going to be able to have 4 or 5, maybe more than that, 6 or 7 of these, in a really, really good city. That's a lot of free housing that you get, as well as, potentially some more faith and food. Now, if you go the faith route, that's going to help you, maybe you go for some of those monks with the follower belief, or go into the what am I trying to say, theocracy, and be able to buy all of your military units with faith and kind of really build up your faith that way, or build up your army that way. Both of those I think are really good options. But overall, yeah, I think India already is kind of strong. Now, granted, they did say in the video so far that Gandhi really likes more of a pacifist approach, although the joke there is that late game Gandhi also is the one that throws around all the nukes. But yeah, Gandhi typically likes a pacifist approach, whereas this guy's gonna be very, very war hungry, go after and do conquest victories and things like that. So let's jump back over to the video and see what is going on.
After researching the military training civic, he may declare a war of territorial expansion, with additional movement and combat strength during the opening turns of the war. Chandragupta is a powerful expansionist leader with an elephant-mounted army to support him on his way to a domination victory. Building plenty of stepwells will be the key to keeping your people housed and fed as you expand your reach across continents. Will your empire grow vast and strong? How will you lead India in Sid Meier's Civilization 6: Rise and Fall?
All right, so India, I think this version of India looks really, really strong. I mean, the Varu were already kind of a nightmare to deal with at times, or a strong, heavy cavalry that can come in and do some pretty significant damage because of that adjacency -5, debuff that they put on other units. But then having the extra +5 from the war declaration This guy's going to be pretty strong, pretty tough to deal with, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm glad he wasn't the new leader I was expecting, but I'm glad that he is the new leader they picked, because I think India, need a little bit of extra change. And you can't have a civilization without Gandhi. So they had to have Gandhi as the first India leader, but to bring this guy in as a second one is really cool. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like. If not, feel free to, I understand, give me a dislike if you need to, hopefully not. But please feel free to comment in the comments below, and let's, keep the discussion going. Thank you and goodbye.